Okay, so today's going to be sort of a long Sabbath talk. I had the bad taste to buy a newspaper today. I generally don't watch the news. I have no television. And I try not to read newspapers as much as possible. In any event, today it broke down, and the reason I broke down is on the front page we have a mother whose schizophrenic son was out in the middle of the forest somewhere and confronted two cops and wound up dead. Now, I've been doing kind of a bit of a dot connecting on the disadvantaged when it comes to the police. And it seems to us that the disadvantaged fare less well with the police than even I do. You know, I'm a convicted criminal. You know, this kid with schizophrenia, the same as some little boy, 18-year-old boy, skinny little boy. You know, there's 20 police officers surrounding this empty streetcar, and a little boy with a 3-inch blade in one hand and his penis in the other. Is the receptacle for the complete contents of the officer's revolver. He couldn't shoot him anymore if he tried. And then, after he emptied his revolver into the boy, he tasered him. Now, this is unexplored consciousness in our courts, or just conveniently overlooked. I'm not sure which it is. I'm hoping it's conveniently overlooked. But the fact remains possible that it's unknown data. Like, this officer was getting his sexual yayas out of homicide. According to Sigmund Freud, humanity presents by 3 years of age as homicidal, polymorphous, perverse. So 100% of humanity, according to practicing psychiatrists, are perverted. It's just a question of how. Understand? But we pay these, first of all, we pay these perverts $106,000 a year, from what I gather. Of course, detectives would be more than that. So what the U.S. spends on military, Canada spends on overpaying its public servants, embarrassing sums of money. Think about it. Like, if I haven't got the courage to confront an 18-year-old boy with a Boy Scout knife in one hand and his penis in the other, I have no business being a policeman. How can anyone look up to that? How can any of them ask for capitulation ever again? Capitulation is not something you demand, it's something you earn. And the police have lost their prerogative to expect that, or to demand that from anyone. And it's not just one occurrence. It's across the board, not only in Canada, but across the world. Police live by a set of laws unto themselves. Think of this. I kissed a little boy's penis for 1 second. I was sentenced to 3 years in prison for that. This cop, who's still not in jail, right? Who's out on bail, pending sentencing. And what they're expecting is a 5-year sentence. And not only that, I'm just Joe Citizen. This individual is called to a higher order of fidelity to the law than I would be. But in fact, the reverse is what's occurred. And then I find, that there's a drug that you can take so you can fuck as much as you want and not get AIDS. I didn't know this. And the reason now, I don't know, like there's tens of thousands of people who are taking this drug. So I don't know if these are people who have AIDS and who are not spreading it, or whether these are people who are fucking people with AIDS and taking this drug as a prophylactic defense. And according to the article, you could reason it either way. So I don't know whether these are tens of thousands of active AIDS patients. Tens of thousands? That's a lot of sickness. That's a lot of indiscriminate fucking. It's our experience in heaven is a kind of fond of the proposition of marriage. And whether it's like in the old days, priests with each other, nuns with each other, or heterosexual people with each other. There was room for everyone. It wasn't discussed, it wasn't talked about, and there was a story that everybody purchased that had some value, some marketable value. But anyway, so, this is why I don't read newspapers. Tens of thousands of people. Anyway, this guy had a patient who was taking this drug and then got infected. So that must mean that people are taking this drug prophylactically. So gay men can still go to orgies, right? Take this drug and not have to concern themselves with anything. I used to hang out at bathhouses because it was a good place to buy speed. And, men would fuck 10 times a day, with different guys, different partners. I didn't, I was always assured of a strong welcome from gay men, and I appreciated it all my life. And they understood that, I wasn't a real great sexual opportunity, but I was an okay guy. And so they welcomed me into their homes and hearts, lots. Never once insisting that I have sex at all, ever. Kind of like me with girls. So I have a tremendous amount of respect for gay men, or the gay men that I met, but I don't know what's going on in the gay community these days. People have no morals, no guts. It used to take a lot of guts to be gay when I was a young man. I really looked up to these people. They come and say, "I'm gay, I'm homosexual. I want to suck your dick." I would look up to individuals that could do that, or did do that, and not only that, were enormously talented as well. So I respected these individuals for their talent, for their courage. I wanted to be like them, and I just couldn't. I tried hard. I did succeed a little bit, with one man. Anyway, can never tell about these guys. People say that he's dead. I beg to differ. I do. Anyway, so there's inordinate things to think about and concern yourself with if you're a king. And, I feel stronger and healthier than I've ever been in my life, but I can see that my top is sliding down, right? And my chest isn't as big as it was. My belly is getting a little bigger than it should be. But my wits are stunned by what we see. Like, here's a guy who, if he wasn't a cop, would have been one hell of a criminal. One of two ways this man could have gone anyway. He's in the front page of the Toronto Star with some little boy in a headlock. Like, 60-year-old man is beefed up, got muscles coming out his ears. He's got some kid in a headlock. This is another case of, this is a defenseless kid. There's no reason to, he's got this kid in a headlock. The guy can have, he's strong enough to have 5 of these kids in a headlock. Right? But I believe I see a clean passion for his country in his eyes as he's doing it. But I just don't see a whole lot of courage. Like, if he had had some big guy, some large protester, like this kid is smaller than me, okay? In fact, I think it's wearing a skirt. No shorts, could be shorts. Anyway, it doesn't matter what it is. You've got, this is like a sledgehammer to kill a fly type of thing, but these men like to dominate where there's no competition, where there's no possible outcome than my victory. And even as a young boy, I would have been bored by that. If there was no possibility I could lose, I never bothered fighting with the guy. At all. These guys are just fucking thugs. And they're cops. Undercover. So probably 150 grand a year for this type of muscle. And don't worry, if you kill a few of our citizens, it's not a problem. We'll have everything fixed. The courts are on our side. They suck our dick. Welcome to democracy. 101.